Hey, what's up, people in YouTube land? Just going to bring you another Bible review today. Sorry that it's been so long since my last one. But we're going to take a look at the Local Church Bible Publishers 120 series. And this is a personal favorite of mine. It's one of my favorite text blocks, and just overall because of the size and the portability of it. It's a very nice Bible, and if you guys are interested, just wanted this review to be a blessing so you can kind of see what you're getting yourself into before you get one. But taking a look at the outside here, we have an ironed calfskin cover, and you can kind of see the grain there. It's very nice. You can see it just runs across the cover there. And on the back it's even nicer, in my opinion. Got the nice river grain that runs down the cover. And also you're going to have the tooled line, as with all Local Church Bible Publishers Bibles. And also going to have the stitching around the perimeter. Then on the side here, of course, if you're familiar with Local Church, if not, we have these raised hubs that are very nice. Make it look old school. So there's 5 of those, I believe. And then the spine itself says Holy Bible, Authorized King James Version, and Church. So getting the inside now, we've got, of course, a synthetic liner here. So this isn't actual leather, just the outside cover is. So this is calfskin, and this is a synthetic material. Nevertheless, still very flexible. And you can see, you can just roll it up like a newspaper. You can actually see right through there. And then it'll just roll back right out. So it's very nice and flexible. This one is edge lined. So that means that this inside cover here runs in between these 2 pages, and they're, of course, glued together there to add strength to the binding. And so you can see that the stress is right along here instead of right here. So normally this is where the Bible would start to tear apart, but you can see here that this is where the stress is moved to, so it adds to the life of the Bible. And then it's got a nice vinyl end sheet here. It's fairly thick. It's kind of nice, not cheap materials for sure. And then you're going to have a couple cardstock pages, and you can use that to write, whatever you want on there. I have some sayings in the Bible there, and then I have a color code system, which I don't really follow. I put them in there, and then I never follow them. So I don't know why I do them, but it's there. I tried to keep it, and then eventually I can't. But you can do that. You can use it for writing your favorite verses, maybe people you've led to the Lord, special events in your life, and things like that, because there's a couple of them here. Or you could just write notes that the Lord puts on your heart. But it's about 4 or 5 cardstock pages there until you get to the title page. And so you can see there it says the Holy Bible contains the Old and New Testaments, and then translated to the original tongues, and so on and so forth. There's their logo right there. And then down here, you're going to see this is an older model. So it was produced in July 2013, and the model number is 120E1B, and that stands for Executive Series One Piece Black. That talks about the cover. And even though this is an older model than they're producing now, it will be the exact same page layout, and they did bring back the iron calfskin model, so that will be the same as well. You can see this one also has the translators to the reader. This is a very good article to read. The translators of the King James wrote this 18-page document, and it just talks about the translation, what they thought about it, what they thought about the translating of the Bible from the original languages into English, and it's a very good piece of history just to be aware of. This also contains the epistle dedicatory to King James, so the translators to the King. It's also very good, nice read. And then of course you're going to have your index to the Bible, so you have the books of the Bible, their page, and also what I like is it has the chapters, how many chapters are in each book. That's kind of helpful for study and just cool little information. There's the New Testament. And then you're going to get into Genesis, and right before that though, you're going to have a table of signs used in the book, so that just means it is a self-pronouncing Bible, and so that way when you see hard names, it's going to have the pronunciation marks above it, and that's how to use that guide. But you see we can get the text here. It's an 8-point font, and it is a Clarendon medieval font, so it's a more of an old school font, but it's nice. It looks like a Bible font. And I'll see if I can't get you a closer look there. So you can see there, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So it's very easy to read. And then in here you've got the marginal notes. And these marginal notes that are in here are from the original 1611 King James translators. So it's not like they're just made up throughout the process of time. These renderings and alternate translations are from the original translators. And then obviously the cross-references are from the Cameo edition. And you can see how that kind of works. So you read along in A, then you go to A, and as far as this one works, it's going to be linear. So what that means is it's wherever you see this, it's going to be close to right there. So you see B is here, C is down here, and you can see it's right there. And then let's see if we can't find, there's D down here. And so it should be relatively close. Oh, and D's up here. So you can see that one's quite a bit of ways away. That's because of the alternate translation. For the most part, they're going to try to keep it close, just like here with F. So it's right there for you. But it is 8-point font. It is easier to read. It's not like a small font by any means. It's not a large print. So if you have really bad eyes, it may be a little small, but if you have normal eyesight, it's very easy to read. And the spacing between the words is very nice, which makes it even more easy to read. And you can see it's got a wide margin. And at the bottom, I believe this is 1.5 inches. And then you're going to have 1.25 inches here on the side. And then I believe it's about 1 inch on the top. And then in the gutter, it's about 1/2 inch. It's not really a lot of space to write, but you can put like references or symbols or something in the gutter. Normally with the Bible like this, what I'll do if I'm writing notes, this column of text, I'll put notes at the bottom instead of the side here. And then for this column of text, I'll write in this margin and use the top. So that way you have all the room you need to write on verses on this side and verses on this side. But just kind of flip through this so you can see, zoom out here a little bit. See how it lays. It does come with 2 ribbon markers here, 2 black ribbon markers. Very nice. You know, the basic local church markers, but very good. And then the head and tail bands are black and yellow. And we'll turn to Psalms so you can see how the poetry set in this one. And I'll tell you the reason why I don't use this Bible anymore in a few minutes, but you can see that's how the poetry is going to be laid out. But it's very well done. But what I mean by I don't use this one anymore is that I took this one on a hiking trip. I used my wife's backpack, didn't realize that there was water in the bottom of the backpack, and so I set it down like that. Left it in there for a couple hours, and lo and behold, I didn't realize there was water in the bottom. And so the pages on the bottom are completely stiff. I mean, you can just see it sticking up there. You got to kind of push it down. And then even if I take some pages, let's see if I can do this. If it will do it on camera for me. But you can see how stiff these are. I mean, you can hear that too. This is really stiff. And that was because the water, and it sat in there so long and I had no idea. Let's see here. Normally I can get these to stand straight up. But you can just see see how stiff that is? And that's just because of the water. So, you know, it's not like it's not usable, but it's just a little annoying that those are like that and they're hard to churn. But that's just a minor complaint, and that was my fault. So nothing wrong with the Bible itself. But you can see it's got a little bit of shine in the light there. If you can, I don't know if you can see that there. So sometimes that makes it a little bit more difficult to read, but not much. I mean, if it doesn't bother you, it's not a big deal. Another thing that people normally do complain about this is the cackling in the gutter here. So you can hear that, and even when you turn the pages. So it does have that, but if that doesn't bother you, then that's still an awesome addition. You know, it's got wide margins. It's actually fairly easy to carry. I mean, you can see I can hold that in one hand even when it's opened. I can hold it in one hand pretty easily, so it's not that hard. So that's nice. Let's see, what's another thing we want to talk about? Go to the New Testament, take a look at the title page. And also show you that this is a self-pronouncing edition. Obviously, people use Matthew chapter 1 as the kind of the litmus test. Basically, then the prophets, and then we've got the New Testament title page. And then the beginning of Matthew. And so you can see almost pretty much every name has a self-pronunciation, except for the easier ones or the well-known ones. But that's how that's going to look for you. So it's pretty nice. And I mean, this Bible is very easy to carry. It's a nice size. It's about 8 by 6. So it's a very mid-sized Bible to carry. Good to bring to church. You can study with it, preach with it. You could, I mean, I've even taken this door knocking. I know some people like New Testaments and smaller Bibles for that, but I mean, if you wanted the whole Bible, this one's not hard to carry door to door. It's pretty light. Let's look in places that I've taken notes so you guys can see the bleed through. So I think this was with a ballpoint pen. So you can see that. And then flip it here. And so it goes through, but it doesn't bleed through. So you can see on the other page there's no dots or anything. And really it's not that bad of a ghosting. I think that was with pencil, and with pencil it's barely even noticeable down there. Let's go to 1 John. Here's a highlight. So I use this is more of a dry highlighter. The Z-Bright highlighters, those are really good for Bible highlighting. And you can see once you put that down, you can see it a little bit, but to the naked eye, really, it's not that noticeable. This was close to like a Pigma Micron pen here, and you can see that's going to ghost through a little bit more. But this was a thicker pen that I was using, and I probably shouldn't have been using it on that. So if you use like an 05 Pigma Micron, that should be perfectly fine on there. But you can see there. And then at the back, of course, you're going to have End of Revelation. And then you're going to have a concordance to the Old and New Testaments. And it's in a paragraph style, so they put the word and then the references right after that, where it is, and then they'll give a short portion of that verse and chapter of the book where the word belongs. And this one's pretty big concordance. Let's see here. I think it's somewhere around the ballpark of 139 pages. Oh, that looks like it might be longer than 139. Yep. 151. So, sorry about that. 152 pages. Yep, it's 152 page concordance. So it's got a lot of entries. It's very helpful for study. And at the back you're going to have, looks like here, 2 pages of Bible paper. And then the old Cambridge maps that local church uses. And they're okay. They're not my favorite map by any stretch of the imagination, but they are there and give you some locations. And so you can just see the empires of the Old Testament. And this is the route of the Exodus. Then the Holy Land of the Time of the Kings. And I believe that these divided up are the kingdoms of Judah and Israel. Then this is the Holy Land during the time of Jesus' ministry. How it was broken up under the Roman Empire. Then you have the Sea of Galilee, the towns around it, where he worked a lot of his miracles and where they spent a lot of time. Then you have a topographical, well, not topographical, but you have almost like a three-dimensional map of Jerusalem. And then you have Paul's missionaries' journeys. So you're going to have a couple more cardstock pages in the back here. And then same thing as in the front, tabbed in, synthetic liner, and the back cover. So I hope this is a blessing. Sorry I haven't been able to do one in a while, but this is a good Bible. Right now, if you get the standard cover from local church, I believe it's $45, and then shipping, of course, will be included, but the Bible itself is $45. The executive calfskin edition like this one, I believe is $62. That's what I want to say. That or it's $57. It's one of those two. So very inexpensive for what you get, and it's a good Bible that lasts a lifetime. I just happened to ruin it myself because I put it in water. But I would encourage you, if you want a wide margin you can carry everywhere with you, that you can put your own notes and study the Word. This is a very good Bible to carry with you, and it is a faithful companion. I mean, it was my favorite Bible. Of course, once I waterlogged it, it got all messed up. But let me go to Proverbs. That should be a spot where you could really see some markups. Sorry, I just remembered this, but I highlighted a lot in Proverbs just because of the specific reading plan I had at this time. So you can see there's a highlight there. Paper takes highlighter very well. I would not use a wet highlighter in this Bible, though. That will definitely ruin the paper. It does not use a wet highlighter very well, and it will totally bleed through and mess up the words on the other side. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Underlining with a Z-Brite or a Pigma Micron or even a ballpoint pen is good. You can see here, this was with a Pigma Micron here, and then you can see on the reverse side. And up here I kind of wrote over the top there. So it's still kind of easy to read, even when you write over the top of your own handwriting. But yeah, so that's the review of the 120, and hopefully I'll have some more reviews coming out soon. And I want to do another review later of this one here from local church, which is a 355 series, and hopefully get that out to you guys. But I hope this review of the 120 was a blessing, and if you're looking for one, I can definitely encourage you to pick up one, enjoy it, just be in God's Word, reading it, and rejoicing with Him and having fellowship with Him through His Word. And this is the way He talks to us today, so just enjoy it. And you guys have a good day, and God bless.